In the Star Wars sequel trilogy, Rey is very powerful, which has left many fans wondering how. In this video, I intend to answer this question, even exploring the idea that she is the new Chosen One, which is an argument I've heard some fans suggesting. Hello and welcome to Vault Holocron. I'm Jonathan, and today we will be discussing how Rey is so powerful in the sequel trilogy. First, I'm going to briefly provide some examples of Rey's great power. In The Force Awakens, Rey mind probes Kylo without training, mind tricks the Stormtrooper without training, and defeats Kylo Ren without lightsaber or Force training. In The Last Jedi, she defeats the Praetorian Guards with minimal training, and lifts heavy rocks with minimal training. And in The Rise of Skywalker, Rey uses Force healing and defeats Palpatine. So Rey was clearly powerful in the sequels, but what are some of the standard ways which she could have gained these powers? One way she would have developed fighting ability would have been through her time living on Jakku. Jakku was a harsh place to grow up, and Rey needed to know how to defend herself. At the beginning of The Force Awakens, we see Rey quite easily knock Finn down with her quarterstaff, which shows skill. In regard to her early Force skills, she would have had certain inherent abilities, such as greater reflexes, which she would have unknowingly used. Later, in The Last Jedi, Rey developed her Force abilities and fighting skills further, learning from Luke Skywalker for a while. Also, she would have learned to fight with a lightsaber rather than a quarterstaff, which she was familiar with. In The Last Jedi, Rey also took the sacred Jedi texts, which she later read and learned from. Finally, between The Last Jedi and The Rise of Skywalker, and early in The Rise of Skywalker, Rey trained under Leia. All of these examples here would have proved useful across the sequel trilogy, but there was more at play than these more standard methods of gaining power. For instance, when fighting Palpatine, Rey called for the help of previous Jedi, and therefore was likely not relying solely on her own power. Anyway, as I mentioned earlier, one idea put forward has been the idea that Rey is the Chosen One. So, let's explore whether this is possible. The biggest interpretation of the Chosen One prophecy is that someone will come and bring balance to the Force by destroying the Sith. This is the part of the prophecy that could be said to support Rey as the Chosen One, as Rey did in fact kill the Palpatine clone. However, the full prophecy disproves this idea. In the book Master and Apprentice, the prophecy was said to be, "A chosen one shall come, born of no father, and through him will ultimate balance in the Force be restored." This tells us that the Chosen One has no father, which is just not true for Rey. Additionally, Anakin was already said to be the Chosen One by the Mortis father, which I'd say is a very reliable source. Also, in regards to Rey stopping Palpatine, Wikipedia suggests that the Sith hadn't actually yet returned fully, and that Rey stopped Palpatine before the Sith had truly been reborn. However, the idea of Rey being the Chosen One is not as far from the truth as it would first appear. Although not the person this prophecy spoke of, she was one of the people another prophecy spoke of. This prophecy was a Sith Eternal prophecy, and it spoke of two Force sensitives who would be connected through the Force and each gain great power. This connection was called a Force dyad, and this Force dyad was formed by Rey and Kylo. This meant that Rey and Ben's minds were connected through space and time. With this power they could communicate through the Force, even when apart, sense each other's thoughts, emotions and actions, pass objects to each other while at different places from each other, and use Force healing, even to the extent of resurrection. Also, these abilities were possibly only part of what Rey and Ben were capable of, with Sidious having believed the power of the dyad to have no limit in potential. So, how does this explain Rey's power throughout the sequels? Well, although the clearer signs of the dyad became present in The Last Jedi through Rey and Kylo's long-distance chats through the Force, the dyad was formed in The Force Awakens. When Kylo encountered Rey on Takodana and mind-probed her, he felt a connection to her. This connection bridged Kylo's mind with Rey's, and from this moment, the two of them were set on a path to great power and unique abilities. Due to their connection and Kylo's mind-probing, Rey gained some of Kylo's knowledge and training, and her Force abilities developed very quickly. As time went on, Rey and Kylo's bond grew stronger, and they became more powerful. And this is why Rey and Kylo were so formidable in the sequels. Anyway, that's it for this video. I hope you found this dive into Rey's power in the sequels interesting, and we hope to see you later at Vault Holocron.